You ever seen those guitar players on YouTube who sound almost like a one-man band playing both chords and lead lines and mixing them seamlessly and improvising it all? You can do it, you just need a little something. And sure, basic chords can work okay for this, but they're often too bulky to throw into a solo or to quickly connect with licks. But if you use these minor triad voicings, you can move them quickly and connect them to scales easily. Let's see what that sounds like. First up, let's call this the first shape, or root position. I guess in triad language or in music theory language, we would say root position, which means that root is on the bottom. And actually, it's kind of the easiest one to find anyway, because if you've ever played Stairway to Heaven, you've certainly played this chord before, right? Or we just think of it as belonging to this standard A minor bar chord shape. So we have the standard A minor bar chord shape, and inside that, we have the A minor triad. And also, we have to associate what the scale shape there is, and that's A minor pentatonic easy shape. We can see the chord looks a bit like the scale shape, right? A little bit. And we can see that the triad obviously also fits inside those as well. So if I have the chord, I have the triad, and if I have the triad, I have the scale. We can hit the chord at the end, or we can hit the triad at the end, or we can combine them in all kinds of ways. So we got that. Let's find this same triad for the 4 chord in the key of A minor. In the key of A minor, our 4 chord is what? It's D minor, right? So the easiest way would be to just go A all the way up to D minor. So I've got my classic D minor bar chord there. And the triad would be that. It's the same, right? Whenever we have that classic minor bar chord, we have that triad shape. And whenever we have that, we have the easy shape minor pentatonic. In this case, it's actually D minor pentatonic. We've actually changed scales, which we might say, wow, that is very clever of us. We've changed scales, and we barely really even did anything, did we? All we did was just imagine the shapes of A minor and D minor. Whoops, that's D minor there. And then we can see the triad, and we can see the D minor pentatonic easy shape. Let's do the 5 chord. If we stay in like a natural minor key, the 5 chord in the key of A minor would be E minor. And so we have our classic bar chord. It's getting kind of high up here, but that's okay. And of course we have the triad shape. And of course we have E minor pentatonic. Now just keep in mind that even though we're changing scales here for each chord, we don't have to. We can, of course, just stay in A minor pentatonic for an entire song that might be 1-4-5 in the key of A minor. So a song might be A minor, D minor, E minor. And normally what we would do is we would just continue to play A minor pentatonic. But sometimes, especially when you're seeing the chord and when you're seeing the triad, you can't help but to see the pentatonic shape that goes with it. And so it's like you're gonna play it, right? You can't not see it at that point. So you're gonna sometimes then actually change scales for the D minor or change scales for the E minor, because it's there and you see it at that moment. All right, that's root position triad we said, right? So the second one would be, they have terms for this. There's kind of like first inversion and second inversion, but I never hear guitar players say that stuff. So let's just say we're gonna do the next one up, we'll call it. And it's the harder one to find, but it has the third on the bottom, right? The minor third on the bottom, the C on the bottom. And so there's different ways that you can find this one quickly. It's honestly, when you get good at it, it's not hard to find this one quickly. Maybe the easiest way is just to think that whenever you're in extension shape, or the blues box as we call it, that that triad is right there. It's just kind of covering just above it, right? So 2 of those notes of the extension shape are in that triad, and then we have to grab that extra note, which is in the full shape too, right? A lot of us don't play the full shape 2 well for minor pentatonic, because it's actually the full shape 2 is not in a lot of famous rock and roll solos, so maybe we don't come across it as often, and that's why. But now we know it's there, so that's the A minor triad whenever we are in extension shape. And you'll notice that we don't have a big bar chord for this one. Like we did here, we had this big A minor bar chord. And we don't have one for here. It's just, I mean, you could kind of do something really tricky like this maybe. It's kind of hurts. Or you could do, no, it's not worth it. Don't bother. So let's do the 3rd shape. This would have the 5th on the bottom, and we'll do it as D minor just because the A minor will be pretty high up on the fretboard there. The 3rd one is easy because we just think of the other standard bar chord, which is the sky with its root on the A string D minor. And that's the bar chord associated with the triad with its 5th on the bottom. That's a D minor triad right there. That's a really nice range, right? That's a really nice spot to be on the fretboard. And then we need to know what the pentatonic shape is for this one as well. But we know, I think we do this in like our 6 Steps to Pentatonic Mastery series, that whenever we have this bar chord, we have shape 4 minor pentatonic, what I like to call funny B, because first finger is on the root on the A string. And so that's shape 4 funny B associated with this bar chord. The bar chord kind of looks like the minor pentatonic shape, doesn't it? It's got the funny B in it, and it's got the triad in it. They fit over top beautifully. So the easier one is one we just did with root on the A string. We have the bar chord, we have the triad, we have minor pentatonic, D minor pentatonic, funny B string shape. And triad. It's so nice to be able to go to a triad. That's why we love them. We love them because we can play them so quickly, and we can grab them inside of a scale, right? And they're actually, 2 of them are easy to find. And keep in mind that many songs have a mix of both minor and major chords, so you would need to have ready at your fingertips both the minor triads and the major ones. But we've got you covered for that. Just click here.